Welcome guys to a brand new video on Wuthering Waves. So in today's video I wanted to go over some of the changes that I have noticed with the devs. So I'm making this video because I honestly have been feeling this way, and honestly the facts are the facts. The devs we had in version 1 and the devs we have now after the anniversary are completely different in the sense of the way they look at the game or the decisions that they're making in the game. It has completely changed. Now if you ask anyone why they should play Wuthering Waves, you'll be like, the devs are so generous, they did this previous year. You know, they gave out free 5-star character, they gave out loads of limited pools, the game was very the game was not restrictive in teams, you didn't need to really summon for weapons. That was all stuff that happened pre-anniversary. If you ask literally anyone right now, or why did she play Wuthering Waves, they talk about how the devs are so good, and the reasons they give you for that, besides of course improving optimization, which the devs still continuously do, they do add stuff in the game as well that's also beneficial for the game in general. But if they talk about how generous the devs are, it's usually from stuff from previous year, okay, after pre-anniversary. So I wanted to talk about all the stuff the devs have changed, or how the devs have changed, by talking about the facts, okay, the facts of the version 1 devs and now the version 2 devs basically. So let's go quickly run down through all of this stuff, and this again is factual, not subjective, it is objective facts. So first of all, now the devs basically gave out free 5-star character at the start of the game due to bug issues and the game being absolutely horrendous in terms of being able to play. Many people had issues, so of course they really wanted to get people to actually enjoy the game and play the game. The best way for them was to give out a lot of pulls. Well, they took it a step further and gave out a free 5-star character. From that point I was like, yo, this devs, they really could be something great. They could do something really good. So they gave us a 5-star selection ticket for the standard banner characters, which basically meant you didn't really need to reroll, but if you did reroll you could get multiple 5-star characters, and it was absolutely amazing. They gave us a bunch of limited pools as well. That was absolutely fantastic. And then they gave out a bunch of limited pools after the update. I believe when Changli and Jinchi came out, they started giving out, or even before that, they started giving out like limited pools in the event section. So I'll show you right now. So this, yeah, well, we're getting a lot more standard, I think. I can't really remember, but they used to give us a lot of these limited radiant tides as well as even weapons ones as well. Not the standard ones. Hey, I'm happy to take the Lotus tides to get some more 5-star weapons, honestly. But before, a lot more of these were basically limited pools. And then they gave us an additional 5-star limited unit, and that character was what's his face right now? I forgot his name. Zhang Liao. Yeah, there we go. Zhang Liao over here. Free limited 5-star character. Absolutely crazy. Again, building up that reputation that the devs were not the same as other devs. Okay, literally from this point on, people are like, yo, they are not Genshin Impact, they are not Hoyoverse, they actually give out a lot of pools, they are actually very generous. So yeah, that's the facts. And then they continuously improve optimization. They keep adding little stuff to the game that basically essentially made the game a lot more better, streamlined, added certain changes that we requested, and that's where you get a lot of people saying, whoa, the devs listen, the dev listen. That again, pre-anniversary devs. And then we also got universal buffers, okay, with the release of Shorekeeper. Literally can be slotted in multiple teams. She was honestly the go-to character to summon for. Everyone loved this. We have a universal buffer that can be used in multiple teams. It made the game more free-to-play friendly, because all you really needed to do was summon for one support character, Shorekeeper, and she can carry your entire account with multiple different teams. We got team plays that doesn't require multiple 5-star character. We got characters that were absolutely amazing but required literally not much limited pools. You only need to get the character. You can use free 5-star weapon, you can use 4-star characters with this unit. So all the characters we were getting version 1 literally were all like, didn't really feel restrictive. They were extremely free to play friendly, didn't really need to pull the weapons and all that stuff. We got no team insane restrictions, okay, no insane restrictions. Literally, that was version 1 devs, they didn't really push for that. We also got what's it called, let me look at my list. Barely any scummy monetization practice. Literally, like, the version 1 devs did not basically do scummy practices of trying to get more money by scamming the players, or continuously including monetization practice that basically incentivize spending. That was all version 1 devs. Okay, they give out free 4-star weapons. I mean, they did do that. Okay, they give out 4-star weapons, and they did actually bother with 4-star characters. However, they were both trash. This is the 2 4-star characters that were new. They actually bothered trying to release 4-star characters, and yeah, they were trash, but still the thoughts were there. We thought we would continuously get more 4-star characters. They also improved, they also gave out 4-star chest box, or whatever it's called, where you can select some 4-star brand new weapons. They added new 4-star weapons as well, and that is all from version 1 devs. Now, when the anniversary kicked off, that was the sound, that was the bell ringing. Okay, that was when the bell rang, and we got the new introduction to what the devs were thinking. During the anniversary of the game, we saw something different. No 5-star characters. Again, it doesn't really matter if you got 3 5-star standard banner characters. They were all useless except Verena, pretty much. But still, the thought would still have counted. You know, you would have been like, okay, cool, that's fine. No 5-star character for free. Loads of banners. Pulls were not that insane. Okay, especially if you compare it to comparing it to other gacha games that celebrated their anniversary in that same year. Unironically, Wuthering Waves was the most disappointing one. The events as well was absolutely garbage. Again, those are all stuff that we obviously knew that the devs were taking a new direction. They wanted to see how stuff worked, but of course it didn't work out, which was fine. Okay, they took a shot, they missed. However, we gave feedback. Hopefully they changed. Yeah, they didn't. They added, during the anniversary, a restrictive character. In my opinion, the most restrictive character we have gotten. I know people want to say, well, the new characters like Katefia is also restrictive. Guys, let's not kid ourselves. Zanny is the most restrictive character in the entire game. Okay, she practically needed Phoebe. Okay, to actually work. She needed Phoebe. She needed a character that can apply Spectrofragile and reach their stack. That was Phoebe. And they did learn, I would say, because although Katefia wants to get Chikona, it's not as insane, in my opinion. Okay, so I would say that's one positive they learned, not to make a character like Zanny again. And I hope they don't do that. Okay, I really hope. But they added the what's that thing? The debuff mechanisms, or the what do you call those stuff? Spectrofragile, the hair erosions, the debuff stuff. Okay, the DOT stuff. They added those stuff during the anniversary, and from then team style has become more restrictive. Characters kind of feeling like they want these specific support characters to help with the team. So that was the start of the new devs. Okay, and it has only gotten worse. Okay, no 4-star characters, no 4-star weapon, and it's especially noticeable when they're trying to push new play styles with those debuff mechanisms, the damage over time mechanisms like Frazzle and the arrow erosions. Literally all they needed to do is add a 4-star character that can literally do the same, but they haven't done that, and it still confuses me why they haven't done that. They've added a restrictive playstyle with the teams. They've added characters that want the weapon. Now people are going to say, well, they did that with Brant, and this was prior to the anniversary. The thing is, that was one character, and Brant is a character that, okay, if you want to make him deal insane amount of damage, yes, his damage is going to his own weapon is going to be required. However, he's not only a main DPS character or main damage dealer or damage dealer. He has supportive mechanisms. Okay, he can heal. Can he heal? He provides shield, and that's also absolutely amazing. His damage was actually decent, and he still provided that supportive capability. Even without his weapon, he was still providing stuff that was not only damage, and you could feel it in your team. It was absolutely amazing. Of course, the weapon was still an issue, but we could get by with that. Okay, it wasn't a big fuss. However, the fact that we didn't talk about it made the devs definitely realize, we can play around with this. And now they've released more characters that kind of feel that they need their weapon, and the reason for that is because we don't have 4-star alternatives, especially with Katefia over here. I honestly won't say. I honestly want to say her weapon wouldn't have been an issue if they just released a weapon, a 4-star weapon that had HP scaling. Literally, that was all they needed to do. HP scaling, some substats, some of the actual effects that could actually work with her. Doesn't have to be every one of the effects, just some of it. And honestly, I don't think her weapon would be much of an issue. It's only like, I believe, like 20% difference now. Let's go ahead and open it up. I was trying to look at this for a second, but let's go over to Pride real quickly so we can take a look at where is Katefia. I think it's like a 20%. So it's a 26%. Now, honestly, it wouldn't feel like a 26% if they had like a 4-star weapon with HP stats, and maybe like instead of 100% like the Emerald of Genesis, it would be like 110. That would be fine, okay? So I don't think Katefia's weapon is necessarily much of an issue, besides the fact that we just don't have 4-star characters, 4-star weapons, sorry. Now, when it comes to the new character, Falova, that is when I think we have a main problem with the weapons, okay? They should have just given us a 4-star weapon that would work with Falova. They basically, I believe during the end of the closed beta for Falova, they decided to rework her a bit, which basically made her weapon more insane for her. And essentially, now she's a character that has the highest percentage of benefit from her own specific weapon. Okay, before it was Brant, now it's her. So if we go over to Falova real quickly, there she is. If you go over to her build, a whopping 43%. Now, if you have Sting Master, it is fine. Okay, if you have Sting Master, this is not going to be much of an issue. But not everyone has Sting Master. Now, of course, everyone was recommended to get Sting Master, including myself. I did recommend it. It's a universal, one of the most universal 5-star weapon. And then people keep saying the devs made a mistake by releasing this. No, they didn't. It was an amazing decision for the players. Okay, it's not a mistake, guys. It shouldn't be called a mistake when the devs release stuff or make stuff amazing for the players. Stop calling it a mistake. But maybe the devs feel like it was a mistake because many people didn't really need to pull any more rectifier. So they wanted to change that a bit. Now, if you have Sting Master, I don't think you need to get her weapon. However, many free-to-play players and many players might not have Sting Master, and now they are rocking the Cosmic Ripple. Guys, let's not pretend. You're going to feel the difference. You're going to feel the difference with having a weapon with the Cosmic Ripple. So again, we've now gotten a character that has basically made it feel like her weapon is going to be important. Again, if you have Sting Master, you're not going to feel it. But if you don't have Sting Master, you don't have any of this, even this one's don't really, if you don't have any of the other ones over here, and you only have Cosmic Ripple, you are going to feel like a damage, especially if you have other characters, other DPS characters, you know, weapons, or even if you don't have the weapons. For example, Camellia, you don't need to get Camelia's weapon. You can use the free 5-star weapon, and I think she would pretty much be good, okay, for you. So again, I'm making this video because of the whole recent Falova situation with the weapon. Now, people are going to say it's not a weapon, it's not a situation, sorry, but I wanted to talk about all the changes that have happened recently with the devs. They have added characters that are more restrictive. They've added characters that kind of feel like they want their weapon. They have added characters like Falova now, who you need to farm an entire new echo set that only works for her. And I'm not going to lie, this screams like Punishing Grey Raven. Now, the reason why it works in Punishing Grey Raven is because they give you enough pulls to literally pull every single character, every new character, every single update you can pull for free. So when they have these restrictions with team restrictions where a specific character buffs this team, it's fine in Punishing Grey Raven. It is not fine in Wuthering Waves because you don't get as much pulls to do this stuff. And then in Punishing Grey Raven, characters want the weapon as well. There are some characters that want the weapon, some characters that actually want the dupe. However, in Punishing Grey Raven, the reason why it works as well is you can buy dupes for free. Oops, I don't know why I just messed up in. You can literally buy dupes for free as well in Punishing Grey Raven. So when you have the character, you can buy it for free. You can use it's a free-to-play resources by just clearing some events. So again, all of this stuff I can definitely see in Punishing Grey Raven. It is happening in Punishing Grey Raven. Characters wanting their weapon, teams being restricted from Punishing Grey Raven. They have the Mona specific elements. The characters wanting weapons, duplicates, or well, right now we don't have a duplicate situation where characters want to get the dupes. Luckily, okay, we don't have that situation. It might change though, since how they have recently started adding stuff that kind of makes it feel like Punishing Grey Raven, but with limited pulls. So yeah, now we've gotten a bunch of other monetization practices that are a little bit more scummy. For example, there's one I definitely noticed, which was in the battle pass. Usually, when you claim your battle pass stuff, you don't get this pop-up that says, okay, I've already bought it, so it's kind of too late. But when you press claim all, let's say you only have the public channel one, it now brings up the insider channel telling you you're missing this item. If you only spend money, you can get this item as well. They never had that pop-up feature before. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. So they've been adding a bunch of other monetization practices. Like I said, characters being more restrictive is definitely playing into the more scummy practices of other devs, where they want you to now summon for the other characters to make your character feel complete, or to make your character actually be as insane as they could be. So again, those are decisions that the devs have recently taken that they never did in version 1, or the leading up to the anniversary. They never really did that, guys. Okay. Again, no 4-star weapons, no 4-star characters, no free 5-star. I'm talking about the anniversary. Anniversary was not great as well. Teams are more, I've already said, specific, like Punishing Grey Raven. Devs are basically not the same. Okay, from version 1 to now, it is essentially a different dev in terms of how they see the game and how they've been doing stuff. It's now more, how can we get more money, which is fine for a company. That's the end goal of a company. But the fact that we thought the devs were different from the start, they gained our trust, and now essentially it's like we've gained your trust. We got this loyal followers that will defend them to the end. The Kuro bots, the people that refuse to accept that there are some issues in the game. So I'm just bringing it to attention, the clear difference in direction the devs are taking right now. We are going to get more restrictive characters. We're going to get more restrictive team plays, team style. We're going to get characters that get more insane with the weapon. That is something to happen. That's going to happen right now. You guys are excited for characters like Augusta, Galbarina. They're probably going to play into this new debuff stuff. Okay, they're going to have their own specific debuff stuff that you want to pull their complete teams with as well. So yeah, just expect that to happen now. And essentially that's the main point of today's video. It's been your boy AC Gamer. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think, and I'm out.